Hi there guys, Riath here from tabletopminis.com and welcome to another game of Age of Sigmar. So today we're playing a scenario that we've devised ourselves. It's called Betrayal in the Woods, and we're going to be playing a three-way battle here. So we've got Dwarfs versus High Elves versus Skaven. So it should be quite an interesting one, and let's show you the armies. So here we've got the High Elf army, and that's led by Prince Imric on his dragon. And this is the old model for Imric. He's my favourite model that I've ever owned because I got him when I was really young, like 14, and at the time it was such a big deal, and I just love him. So he's got a lot of nostalgic value to me. So he's leading the army today, and then we have 10 Swordmasters of Hoth with full command. We have a Great Eagle. We've got a Lion Chariot coming along. And then we have 8 Silver Helms with full command. A Mage on foot, and we've got some of our Wood Elf buddies coming with us today, so there's 7 Glade Guard coming to help out. So that is the High Elves.
Okay, so here we have the Skaven, led by Archaon over here, and she's accompanied by 20 Clan Rats with full command. And then we have 2 weapon teams, one's a Poisoned Wind Mortar team, and the other one's a Warp Fire Thrower team, and a Warlock Engineer. And over here we have the Warlord, Skaven Warlord, and 2 Rat Ogres with the Packmaster. And that is the Skaven army.
And this is the Dwarf army, and that's going to be led by Belagar Ironhammer. And we're going to have a Grim Burloxen along with him, and a Dragon Slayer. We're going to have 10 Hammerers with a full command, a Gyro Bomber, an Organ Gun, a Grudge Thrower, and a Dwarf Cannon. And lastly, we're going to have 10 Longbeards with a full command. And that'll be the Dwarf army.
So here we've got the battlefield set up, and it's 6x4, Realm of Life. We've got the Realmgate in the middle, which is the objective, so whoever's got the most models within 3 inches of that at the end of turn 4 will win this scenario. And because we've got 3 armies here, we're going to be deploying in like a triangle. We'll have 1 army in this corner, 1 in the middle on the other side there, and we'll have 1 over here at sort of equal distances from each other and the middle. And so let's roll for the scenery, see what mysterious scenery we get. So now we're going to roll for mysterious terrain. So for this wood here, we've got a 2, which is arcane. For this rocky outcrop here, we have a 3, which is inspiring. We'll put this little ruin in the middle here. That is a 6, which is sinister. And for this wood back here, we have a 4, which is deadly. And then we'll do this other little ruin here. That is a 1, which is damned. And this hill at the back, we have a 1, which is damned also. And then the wood here, we have a 5, which is mystical. And then this final wood over here, we have a 2, which is arcane. And that's all the scenery decided. We are going to play with Realm of Life rules, but we're not going to do the Sylvaneth wood summoning at the start of each turn. We'll just do the Nurgle's Rot check, what was it, Festering Corruption. And yeah, that's the table, so let's get into deployment. Okay, so we're going to choose who deploys first here. So we're all going to roll, and then we can pick the sides. That's a 3 for the High Elves, 2 for the Dwarfs, and a 1 for the Skaven. So it's me to decide. And I think I will take this side just here, this corner here. And then it's a Skaven. Do you want to pick?
No, I rolled a 1.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yep, Dwarfs.
Yeah, I'll take this.
Okay, so Dwarfs over that side and the Skavens to go here. So High Elves to deploy their first unit. So we'll be back after all units are deployed. So here we have the board set up. And we have that in the High Elves corner here, we've got the Silver Helms and the Swordmasters. And then in the woods, there's the Wizard and the Glade Guard. That's an arcane wood, so it buffs spellcasters. We've also got Prince Imric. He's kind of lurking there in the wood. And over on the side, the Chariot and the Eagle. And over here on the Skaven and Chaos side, we've got the Rat Ogres and the Packmaster, the Warlord. I've got the weapons teams there, Clan Rats, and then Archaon. All kind of...
And the Warlock.
Yeah, and the Warlock. And then over on the Dwarf side, we've got the Artillery Battery of 3 with, what's his name? Grimberloxen in the middle. Then we've got the Dragon Slayer and the Hammerers. And then Belagar at the back with the Gyro Bomber and the Longbeards. So we're all set up. The High Elves finished setup first, so they'll start, followed by the Skaven. And then the Dwarfs last in battle round 1. So start the hero phase, and Imric's going to use his Inspiring Presence on the unit of Swordmasters there. We don't have any Skaven or Dwarfs within 1 inch of any scenery, so there's no Festering Corruption this turn. So into spellcasting, and my High Elf Mage here, he's going to cast Shield of Sapphire, which has a cast value of 6, and there's no enemy wizards within 18 inches, so that'll go off on a 6+, which it does. So now Shield of Sapphire is active, so all units within 18 inches of the mage, they get a 6+ additional save to, and it can be for against mortal wounds or normal wounds. So that's the hero phase over. And now the Swordmasters here, they're going to run towards the middle, so that's 6 inches plus 1d6. I can reroll it if it's 1, so that is 11 inches. So if we just move these up to here. We'll place run marker just to show that they've moved. They've run. And the Silver Helms are just going to move up. They've got a move of 12, so I'm just going to bring them up to here. And now Imric, he can move 14 because he's on full wounds. As he takes damage, his move's reduced as well as his attacks, so he's just going to move up to here. And now the Chariot, it can move 9 inches. I'm going to run with it, so that is 14 inches. So I'll move it just up here. Place a run token. And now the Great Eagle, that's got a move of 16 inches. It's going to move up to here. Maybe we can get a charge on the artillery there this turn. So there's no shooting because nobody's in range. The Dragon's Breath's 12 inches and the Glade Guard, their range is 20 inches. So we're straight into the charge phase, and I'm going to try and charge the artillery here with the Eagle. So that's 8 inches. So let's see if we get that on 2d6. Which we do. We get 8 inches, so the Eagle moves in. So the attacks here for the Eagle, because we charged, we get 6 attacks, and they're hitting on 4s. So that is 3 hits. We're wounding on 3s. That's 3 wounds, and there's no rend there, so...
that is 4+
so that's
saves.
4+ saves. So that is 1 wound on the Dwarf Organ Gun, so it's down to, what, 3 wounds?
Yeah.
Okay, so just put a little wound token there. So now the Dwarfs are going to pile in back, so the crew are moving into base to base. And Grimberloxen, he can reach also, he's within 3 inches, so...
It's going to pile in just there.
Yeah, so we've got the Dwarf crew and Grimberloxen attacking. So the crew's got 1 attack each, so that is...
4+ to hit?
Yeah. So none of them hit. So now Grimberloxen's attacking with his steam-powered gauntlet, so that is hitting on a 4+, it's just 1 attack. Which it does, it's wounding on a 3+, which it doesn't, because that would have done D3 wounds, so it's a good thing that didn't. And now the Cog Axe, that's 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. So that is, do you want to reroll that?
No, that's
okay, so that's 2 hits, wounding on 3s.
That's 2 wounds.
That's 2 wounds, and there's a -1 rend. So The Great Eagle has a 6+ save, so it's just 2 wounds on the Eagle. So he's down to 2 wounds. So we'll just put the 2 on here. And now the Eagle's going to use one of his special abilities called Soar Away, so that he can get out of combat. At the end of the combat phase, he can retreat 3d6 inches, so that is 11 inches. So the Eagle is just going to retreat 11 inches to here. So hopefully he can get another charge in next turn if he's still alive. And that is the end of the close combat. And there's no battle shock because nobody died. And so we're into turn 1 for the Skaven.
Okay, start off battle round 1 for the Skaven hero phase, and Archaon is going to use his command ability, Warlord Without Equal, and that means that any other unit that has a command ability in my army can use that as well. Okay, now Archaon is going to use his Eye of Shirian, which means he rolls the dice, and any hits made against Archaon, if the hit is equal to that roll of the dice, then they have to re-roll. So do that now. So 1. Okay. Okay, and now Archaon's going to cast Shield of Thorns on these rat ogres over here. I need a 6+, which he makes.
I'll just put a Mystic Shield token so we remember.
Yeah.
So that's a spell that comes from the Realm of Life.
Yeah.
So okay.
Okay, now my Skaven Warlord here, he's going to cast Gnash Gnaw on their bones, his command ability, on himself, which means he gets an extra attack melee. Okay, now my Warlock Engineer, he's going to cast Mystic Shield on the Rat Ogres, so that's a 6+, which he makes. Okay, now the Pack Master is going to use Herd Them Into the Fray on the Rat Ogres over here. That means they can add 1 to hit rolls, and they can run and charge an extra 1 inch. Okay, now doing the Festering Corruption for the Glade Guard here. 5+, they take a mortal wound, which they do, but they do have a 6+
Shield of
save.
Sapphire, so let's see if that saves. No, so 1's dead.
And now for the Mage here. He is fine. And now for the Eagle over here. He takes a wound, so he is down to 1 wound. Okay, I'm just going to move my Rat Ogres here just about 4 inches this way. And I'll move him as well back about just over here. Just going to move this guy over here. Now I'm going to move my Warlock Engineer just up to here. He's got movement of 6. Okay, I'm just going to move my Warlord back a bit over here. Okay, now I'm going to move my Clan Rats back over here.
So how come your army's moving backwards instead of forwards?
It's tactics. Archaon's just going to move up here. He's got movement of 10, so...
So the whole army is in retreat.
Well, not in retreat, I'm just tactical movements, you know.
Yeah, you seen the High Elves coming around the corner there, so we kind of backed up a bit.
That's Skaven for you. Okay, now the Poisoned Wind Mortar Weapon team is going to use his special ability, More Range, to fire at Imric over here. So that's a 2+. If I fail it, then the weapon crew take D3 mortal wounds. Oh, they just make it. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be 4+ to hit Imric, which they make. And now 4+ to wound Imric, which they do. So that's a 6+ save for Imric.
-2 Ren, so a 4+ save.
So that's going to be 6+.
Oh, and he makes it! That would have been nasty otherwise.
Wow. Okay, and that's the shooting done for the Skaven, and there is going to be no charges because not in range of anything, and battle shock now. So for the Glade Guard.
Glade Guard.
Yeah.
Bravery 6, so a 1, and they're fine. Nothing flees.
Yeah, they're fine.
So start off Duardin turn 1, and we're into the hero phase, and Belgar will cast Inspiring Presence on the Longbeards. Okay, and because the Gyre Bomber and Belgar and the Longbeards are within 3 inches of the Mystical Forest, we're going to have to take some befuddled tests. So for the Longbeards here, on a 2+, they're befuddled. So Longbeards, they can't do anything, they can't move or attack this turn. The Gyre Bomber is ensorcelled, so he can reroll failed wounds until next turn. And Belgar, he's ensorcelled as well. And at the end of our hero phase, we have to do some festering corruption checks for the clan rats over here.
It's a 5+.
So on a 5+, they'll suffer some wounds. No.
And Glade Guard here.
And the Glade Guard here.
Ooh.
Oh, they do suffer wounds.
So Shield of Safari, we've got a save on a 6, which they don't do, so that's another Wood Elf's dead. And now the Mage.
The Mage on a 5+. Nope.
Nope.
And the Eagle. Nope.
He's okay.
So we're into the movement phase. The hammer is here. They're going to run forward, and I'm going to use a musician to give them +4. So there's no need to roll to see how far they can run. So that's a total of 8 inches. The dwarf cannon, he's going to move up 4 inches. And also the grudge thrower and organ gun, they're going to follow up. So we can try and maintain the bonus from the engineer.
They're no longer entrenched, though, are they?
Yeah, they lose the entrenched bonus as soon as they move. So the Dragon Slayer, he's going to run towards the Great Eagle. So we'll see how far he can run. So that's a total of 5 inches. So that puts him just here. The Gyre Bomber is going to move forward 12 inches. Belgar is going to run forward, and he gets 6, so that's a total of 10 inches he can run forward. Put him just there. So into the shooting phase, and Grimbroloxen's going to shoot at the Great Eagle with his Grudge Raker. So it's D6 attacks, so it's only 2 attacks, but they're hitting on 3s. So it's 2 hits and wounding on 3s. That's 1 wound with a -1 rend.
Okay, so because he's on a terrain feature, he gets a +1 to save, so it's a 6+ save. Which he doesn't make, so the Eagle's
dead. The cannon, dwarf cannon's going to shoot at the chariot here. And that's 2 shots, needing 4s to hit. And that's both missed, but it has the Rune of Accuracy, and because there's an engineer within 1 inch, they get a reroll to hit. So I can reroll them too. So that's 1 hit. And it's a 2+ to wound. That's a wound.
Surrender on that.
-2.
-2, so that's 6+ save.
Reroll that.
Okay. No.
And that's D6 damage. That's 6 damage.
Ooh, and it's got 6 wounds, so Chariot's been one-shotted.
Shield of Safari?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Shield of Safari.
Shield of Safari for 6 wounds. And because Shield of Safari, he's within 18 inches of the mage, that's a 6+ save against any wounds, mortal or otherwise. So
he's saved 1 of them.
5 wounds, so he's down to 1 wound.
Next, the Gyre Bomber is going to shoot the Clatter Gun at the chariot to try and finish it off. So we've got 4 attacks, and they're hitting on 4+. Wow. All miss. Okay, next, the Organ Gun is going to shoot at the Lion Chariot, and I think I'm going to use just 2 barrels. He's only on 1 wound left. So we need to roll a 2+ to see if it misfires. So that's cocked. That's okay, so we've got 2d6 attacks. So that's 11 shots. So that's 11 shots at 3+ to hit.
That was a bad roll.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad roll there. It's only 4 hits. And we're needing 3s to wound. More bad rolls, so that's 1 wound.
Okay, it's a 5+ save because of the -1 rend, which he makes.
Okay, so I can't let the chariot plow into the artillery, so I'm actually going to have to use my grudge thrower on the chariot. I really didn't want to have to do that, but it looks like we're going to have to do that. So it's hitting on 3+. So that hits, and it's wounding on a 3+. That wounds with a -2 rend.
Okay, so that's a 6+ save. Which he doesn't make.
He's got the
And-
6+
And how many wounds?
Uh,
How much damage?
3.
Okay, so that's a 6+ feel no pain. Need 3 6s here. And he's dead.
Okay. So that's removed the threat to the artillery. And with that, that's the end of dwarf shooting. And
Battle shock for
there's
the Blade
battle
Guard.
shock. Battle
Oh,
shock
yeah,
for the Glade Guard.
So we took 1 casualty, so we need 5 or less, which we do. So nobody flees.
So that is the end of Duardin turn 1. Start of battle round 2. We're going to roll and see who gets first phase. So
6 for the
elves
high
get
elves.
a 6, Skaven get a 1,
Aha.
and dwarves get a 5. So elves will go first.
So start of turn 2 for the High Elves, and Imric is going to cast Inspiring Presence on the Sword Masters here. And my mage here, he's going to cast Mystic Shield on Imric. So that's got a cast value of 6, which he makes. So Mystic Shield is now on Imric. Now at the end of the hero phase, so we're going to test for Festering Corruption on all models within an inch of terrain. So all enemy models. So we'll start with the clan rats over here on a 5+, which they don't take anything. So start movement, and the swordmasters are going to move up 6. And now Imric's going to move up 14 inches, and he's going to get within breath range of Belagar here. And now my silver helms are going to move up just 6 inches. They're not going to move their full move. Just come in behind the swordmasters here. And now my Glade Guard are going to come out of the woods. They're going to move up 6 inches. And my mage is also going to move 6 inches. Actually, he's going to run, so another 1 inch. The shooting phase, and Minithnir, the Imric's dragon, he's going to use his dragon breath on Belagar there. So on a 1 or 2 it does a mortal wound, a 3 or 4 it does D3, and a 5 or 6 it does a D6 mortal wound. So let's see what we get. And it is just a single mortal wound on Belagar. And
So he does have the Shield of Defiance, but you have any wounds or mortal wounds
okay,
suffered
so
on him,
he
they're
just
rounding
takes
up,
1
so
wound.
He's just taking 1 wound, so he's down to 4 wounds.
Okay, he's down to 4. And now my Glade Guard, they're going to use their Arcane Bodkin's ability. So once per game, they can fire enchanted arrows that do a -3 rend. And I'm going to shoot at the hammers there. So we have got 6 attacks, 2 for the champion, and we are hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s. So that is 5 hits, wounding on 4s. 2 wounds and -3 rend, so
no save for them, so that's
so
just 2 of them dead.
2 are dead. And into the charge phase, Imric is going to attempt to charge Belagar here, so we need 10 inches to get there. So let's see. And we don't make it, so he just stays where he is. So into Battle Shock, and we had 2 casualties for the hammers.
Yeah, but because they have a Kingsguard special rule,
Okay.
they don't take a battle shock test when they're within 16 inches of a dwarf hero.
Okay, so no Battle Shock there, and I don't think we had any other casualties. So that's round 2 for the High Elves over, and into Dwarfs
So
round 2.
start off Duardin turn 2, and we've got some befuddled tests here because of this mystical forest. So we'll start with the Longbeard. And they're okay, so they're just ensorcelled. And also I'll put Inspiring Presence on them again from Belgar. And befuddle test for the Gyro Bomber. So he's still ensorcelled. And for Belgar himself, he's ensorcelled. And for the Hammers, they're ensorcelled as well. Okay, so end of the hero phase, and we have to do a test here for Festering Corruption on the clan rats, and that will happen on a 5+. No, so they're okay. So we're into the movement phase, and the Longbeards here, they're going to use their Musician, and they're going to basically run forward guaranteed 8 inches. So just move them up here. Belgar is going to move forward 4 inches. The gyro bombers going to move up here. The hammers, they're going to move forward 4 inches. And the cannon is going to move up 4 inches. And the same with the rest of the artillery. We're just going to move them all up 4 inches and try and maintain that 1 inch range away from the engineer so they keep the bonus from the runes. And lastly, we'll have the Dragon Slayer try and run. So it'll be 4 plus d6, so he can run 10 inches up here. So start off Duardin turn 2 shooting, and the cannon is going to shoot at Imric. So it's got 2 shots, and it hits on a 4 plus. So that's a 1, that's a fail, but because of the rune accuracy, I can re-roll that. So it's still only just 1 hit, and to wound is a 2 plus. So that's a wound.
And how much rend has it got?
-2.
-2, so it's a normal 3 plus or 5 plus save. Ooh, she doesn't make.
So that is d6 damage. Oh, only 1 damage.
So he's down to 13 wounds.
So next, the grudge thrower, he's going to shoot Imric. So that's 3 plus to hit. Hit, and 3 plus to wound. So that's a wound with a -2 rend.
Okay, 5 plus save, which he doesn't make.
So that's 3 damage.
Okay, so he is down to 10 wounds.
And because of the rune of reloading, we can shoot it again. So that's another shot with 3 plus to hit. Hits, and 3 plus to wound. It doesn't wound. And the organ gun is going to try and shoot 4 barrels at the silver helms. So we need to roll a 4 plus. And that fails. Because of the engineer is within 1 inch, he gets to reroll that. So he makes it. So that's 4 d6 attacks. So that is 12, 17 attacks. So we're needing a 3 plus to hit. 3 plus to wound. So that is 8 wounds.
8 wounds with a -1 rend, so that is a 5 plus save, and I can reroll 1s or 2s because I'm Elven Shield. So that's 1 saved, and I can reroll these 2. That's 2 saved, so that is 6 wounds, so that is 3 of them dead.
Next, Grim Burloxen's going to shoot at the Swordmasters with his Grudge Raker, so that's d6 attacks. It's 4 attacks. That's 3 plus to hit, and 3 plus to wound. So that's 3 wounds on Swordmasters with a -1 rend.
Okay, so that's a 5 plus save with a -1 rend, so that is 2 fails, and because it deflects shots, they can reroll failed saves. So that is 1 wound and 1 dead.
And next, the Gyro Bomber is going to shoot its Clatter Gun at the Poisoned Wind weapon team over here. So it's 4 attacks on a 4 plus to hit. So that's 2 hits and 3 plus to wound. That's 2 wounds with a -1 rend.
So no save.
So the Poisoned Wind weapon team is down to
1 wound.
1 wound, okay.
Yeah.
So into the charge phase, and the Hammerers are going to charge at Imric, and Belgar is going to charge at the Swordmasters. So for the Hammerers, we've already measured, and it's a 7-inch gap. So we're needing a 7, and the Hammerers make it. And for Belgar, into the Swordmasters, that needs a 6, and that he makes it as well. So Belgar's into there. Okay, so start off the hand-to-hand combat phase, and Belagar is going to attack the Swordmasters, and he's got 4 attacks, and they hit on 3s. So that's all 4 hits, and they wound on 3s. All 4 wound.
Okay.
And it's got a -1 rend.
Okay, so that's a 5 plus save. So 3 wounds, and how much damage do they do?
D3 damage each. So that is 2, 4, 5.
Okay, so
And Belgar has an ability, Oath of Vengeance. Sorry, Revenge Incarnate. Once per battle after Belgar attacks, he could immediately attack again. So he's going to use that. So he's going to get another 4 attacks. So that's 3 plus to hit. So that's only 1 hit. And 3 plus to wound. So that's another
okay,
save.
5 plus save, which he makes.
Okay. So that is the Swordmasters get to attack back, I think. Or you can...
Okay, so Imric Starlance, 3 attacks, hitting on 3s against the Hammerers here. That's 2 hits, wounding on 3s. 1 wound with -1 rend.
So that's a 5 plus save. And it's
So
failed.
that's 2 damage, so 2 dead.
2 dead here.
And now the Dragon's Claws, so I get 5 attacks here, hitting on 4s. That's 3 hits, wounding on 3s. 2 wounds and -1 rend, so 5 plus save. And
One
that
save.
is another 2 damage, so another 2 dead.
Another 2 dead.
And now his Jaws, the Dragon's Jaws. We've got 3 attacks, hitting on 4s. That's 2 hits, wounding on 3s. Ooh, nothing there. And that would have been a d6 wounds per d6 damage per wound. So,
So that's a total of 9 attacks because we've got 3 guys left and the champion, and that's 3 plus to hit. So that's 6 hits and 3 plus to wound. So that's 3 wounds. Reroll into wound. So that's 1 more wound.
And 4 saves here on a 4 plus because he got Mystic Shield. So that is 3 wounds. So he's down to 7 wounds. And now the Swordmasters are piling in. So we've got 9 attacks here. We're hitting on 3s. We can reroll 1s, which we don't have any of. So that's 8 hits, wounding on 3s. That is 4 wounds.
And that's a 3 plus save.
-1 rend.
So 4 plus. So that's 2 wounds. And because of the shield that Belgar has, he halves the number of wounds, so he only suffers 1 wound.
He's down to 3.
Down to 3 wounds. Okay, so into the battle shock phase, and the hammers here, they're immune to battle shock because of Kingsguard.
And Inspiring Presence.
We do have a battle shock test to take for the Silver Helms. So we had 3 casualties, and they are bravery. That's a 4, so they're bravery 7, or even if they're 6, there's still none of them flee.
So we don't have any battle shock tests to do. So that's the end of Duardin turn 2, and so we're into Skaven turn 2.
Okay, start off with Skaven turn 2, and my Archeon is going to use his command ability, Warlord Without Equal. That means my other warlord, Skaven Warlord over here, will be able to use his command ability as well. Okay, and now my Skaven Warlord over here, he's going to use his command ability, gnashing on their bones on the clan rats over here, which gives them all +1 attack in the melee. Okay, and now the Pack Master over here is going to use his ability, herd them into the fray onto the rat ogres over here. So that gives the rat ogres +1 to hit, and they can add 1 to run and charge moves. Okay, now the Warlock Engineer here, he's going to cast Arcane Bolt on this Gyro Bomber over here. That's going to need a 5, which he makes, and that's going to be D3 mortal wounds.
1 wound.
1 wound on the Gyro Bomber.
So he's down to 4 wounds.
Yeah, he's down to 4
Okay,
and now Archeon is going to use Shield of Thorns on the clan rats over here. That's needing a 6+, which he just gets. So the clan rats over here have Shield of Thorns. And no one is in 1 inch of any scenery, so no Festering Corruption. Okay, now into the movement phase, and my Warp Fire Thrower, he's just going to move up 6 inches over here. And now my Rat Ogres are going to move up 6 inches, just to here. And now my Warlord here, he's going to move up 6 inches. Just over here. Now Archeon, he's just going to move up over here or just here. Now the Warlock Engineer, he's going to move up 6 inches over here. He's behind the Rat Ogres. Same thing with the Packmaster, he's going to move up over here. And the Weapon and Mortar team, he's just going to move up here. Okay, now the Clan Rats here, they're going to try and run up here. So that's a 6 plus 5, so that is 11 inches. Okay, so they're going to move up 11 inches. Just up to there. Okay, now into the shooting phase, and my Warpfire Thrower team here is going to shoot the Gyro Bomber here. I'm going to use his ability, More and More Flaming Death, so on a 2+, he can do D6 mortal wounds instead of D3, which he does make it, so that's going to be D6 mortal wounds, 4+, and he's dead. 4, so that is 4 mortal wounds on the Gyrocopter, which means he is dead. Bye bye, Gyro Bomber. Okay, now my Poisoned Wind Mortar team, weapon team, is going to fire it at Imric. He's just out of 22 inches, so I'm going to have to use its special ability, which is more range. So on a 2+, I can shoot at 30 inches instead of 22, which means I can be able to fire at him. And it's a 5, which means I can shoot at Imric. So to hit Imric with Poisoned Wind Mortar team, it's going to be a 4+, which it is, and 4+ to wound. Which it isn't, so that does nothing. Okay, my Clan Rats over here, they're going to try and charge these Silver Helms, which is 11-inch charge that's needed. Here we go. Oh, damn it, almost. Okay, now these Rat Ogres here, they're going to try and charge the Silver Helms over here. It's a bit of a long charge, but we'll see. They've been prodded and herded into the fray by the Packmaster, so they can add 1 to their charge. And we calculated that already. It's going to be 11 that's needed. So let's see. Which they don't get. Surprise, surprise. Okay, that's end of the charging, which I didn't make any of, and no battle shock to do. And that's going to be the end of my battle round 2 and the end of battle round 2 for everyone. So start of battle round 3. Okay, now rolling for battle round 3.
A 1 for the Elves.
1 for the Elves. A 2 for the Skaven, and a 3 for the Dwarves.
So Dwarves get the first round in battle round 3.
Yep.
Okay, so start of Duardin turn 3, and in the hero phase, we're going to use Bellegarde's special command ability, Oath of Vengeance, and it will give the hammers +1 attack in the combat phase. And also, these Longbeards are within 3 inches of the mystical forest, so we need a befuddled test. Oh, they're befuddled, so they can't do anything for the whole of this turn. So into the movement phase, and the Dragon Slayer, he's going to move up 4 inches. Okay, so into the shooting phase, and the Dwarf Cannon is going to shoot at Archeon over here. So it's 2 shots, needing 4+. So that's 1 hit, and because of the Rune of Accuracy, you can reroll that. So that's 2 hits, and 2+ to wound. So that's 2 wounds with a -2 rend.
Okay, so that's 2 5+ saves for Archeon, which he both fails.
So that's 2d6 damage.
6 wounds, baby.
So that's 9 wounds, and that is Archeon dead.
But since he's got a special ability on, since he's an Nurgle, on a 5+, he comes back to life with full wounds.
This is a Realm of Life rule.
Yeah, the Realm of Life rule.
Nope.
She doesn't.
And so that is Archeon dead.
Wow.
Okay, next, the Grudge Thrower is going to shoot at the mage here. So it's 2 attacks because of his Rune of Reloading. So it's 3+ to hit. So that's 1 hit and 3+ to wound. So that's 1 wound with a -2 rend.
So he's down to 2 wounds.
And next, the Organ Gun is going to try and shoot 4 barrels. So we need to roll a 4+, and it fails, but because of the Rune of Forging, we can re-roll that. And it fails again, so the Organ Gun doesn't get to shoot this. Next, Grimberloxen is going to shoot at the Sword Masters of Hoth there with his Grudge Raker. So it's D6 attacks. It's only 1 attack. 3+ to hit, and that misses. So that's the end of Duardin shooting phase. So into the charge phase, and the Dragon Slayer is going to try and charge Imric, and that's going to be a 10-inch charge needed, and that fails. So into the combat phase, and I think I'm going to start with the Hammers against Imric, and they have the Oath of Vengeance command ability on them, so they'll have a total of 13 attacks, and we're hitting 13 attacks hitting on 3s. That's 10 hit, and 3 plus to wound. That's only 5 wounds.
Okay, minus 1 rend.
Minus 1 rend.
So 4 plus save. And that's 3 wounds, so he's down to 4 wounds. Okay, Swordmasters are going to attack Belagar now. So we've got 2 attacks each, 6 and 3 for the champion, so that's 9 attacks. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 3s. So that is 4 wounds.
And it's a 3 plus save normally.
Stop it. And because of Blur of Blades, I get to reroll that 1 that I rolled to hit. So that's hit as well. And wounding on 3s. So that is still 4 wounds.
Okay, so that's a 3 plus save with a minus 1 rend, so that's 4 plus. So that is 3 wounds.
Ooh, and he's dead.
No, he's not dead because he has the shield. The Shield of Defiance. You half the number of wounds, rounding up.
Okay,
so that's actually only 2 wounds,
he's
and he's down to a single wound.
Lucky escape.
So Belgar is going to get to attack back. So he's got 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, and wounding on 3s. So that's 3 wounds, and it's minus 1 rend.
Okay, so that's a 5 plus save. With 2 wounds, D3 damage.
D3 damage. So that is
5 of them dead, so they're wiped out.
And now we're going to have Imric attacking the Hammers.
Okay, so Imric Starlands here. 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. And wounding on 3s. Ooh, nothing. And now the Dragon's Claws. Because I've took 10 wounds so far, he's down to 3 attacks with his claws. And they are hitting on 4s. Wounding on 3s. And they do 2 damage each with a minus 1 rend. So
that's 5 plus saves.
Okay.
So that is
4
damage, and that is the unit wiped out. Okay, so that's the end of the combat phase, and I think that'll be the end of the Duardin turn. We don't have any battle shock tests to take, so it will be into Skaven turn 3.
Okay, start off the Skaven turn 3, and the pack master here, he's going to prod the rat ogres here using his herd into the fray. And that's going to give the rat ogres +1 to hit, and they can run and charge an extra 1 inch. Okay, and now the warlock engineer here, he's going to try and cast Shield of Thorns on the clan rats over here, and that's going to be a 6+ needed, which he makes. Okay, now into the movement, and my warp fire thrower, he's just going to move up 6 inches to here. Okay, now I'm just going to move the rat ogres up 6 inches to over here. Okay, now the clan rats are going to move up 6 inches. And my warlord, he's going to be moving up with the clan rats as well. Okay, now I'm going to be moving these guys up 6 inches. Okay, now my Warpfire Thrower, he's going to shoot Belgar over there. He normally does D3 mortal wounds, but since Belgar's on 1 wound left, so he's going to die. Yeah, he's dead. He's going to die. Okay, now my Poisoned Wind Mortar team, weapon team, is going to shoot the Longbeards here. And since they're shooting at a unit that has 10 or more models, they can add 1 to hit. So that's going to be 3+ to hit, which they make, and a 4+ to wound, which they make, so that is a -2 rend. Okay, so that's a -2 rend, so that's going to be 6+ for the Longbeards. And they don't make it, so that's going to be D6 damage. Let's see if we can wipe 6 of them out. 5! Wow, so that is 5 dead.
Half the unit gone. I'm just going to leave the models there for battle shock.
Okay, wow. That was a good shot. Okay, so now into the charge phase, and my rat ogres over here, they're going to try and charge the silver helms. They need a 7, but they get +1 because they've been prodded, so that's going to be a 6 needed. And they get it, so the rat ogres are in combat. Okay, now the clan rats here, they're going to try and charge the silver helms. They're going to need a 6. And they just make it a 5 and a 1. They are in combat with the silver helms. Okay, now my warlord, he's going to try and charge the silver helms. He's going to need a 10 to get in. Doesn't make it. Now I'm going to pile in and attack with the rat ogres here. Move them around here, free up a bit of space. That's going to be 8 attacks, hitting on 3s, because they were prodded. Okay, so that is 4 hits, wounding on 3s. 4 wounds, -1 rend.
So 5 plus save.
5 plus save.
2 wounds.
Oh, so 2 wounds, and they do 2 damage each, so that's 2 silver helms dead.
Okay. Okay, and the silver helms are going to pile in here, so just going to move around here. Okay, now the silver helms here, they're attacking the clan rats. So first the lances, so that is 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s, 1 wound, and no rend.
Okay, so that's a 6 plus save. So you don't make, so that is 1 dead.
Now the horses here, we've got 2 attacks each, so hitting on 4s, 2 hits, wounding on 5s, 2 wounds with no rend.
So that is 2 dead.
6 plus save.
Oh, yeah, 6 plus save, no rend. Okay, so 2 dead.
Now the clan rats are moving 3 inches, piling in.
Okay, now the clan rats here are going to attack the silver helms. That's going to be 16 attacks, because the leader has 2 attacks instead of 1. Hitting on 4s. Okay, that's 6 hits. Now wounding on 4s. Okay, whoa, that's no wounds. 16 attacks, no wounds. Wow, them clan rats are pretty bad.
So now Imric's going to pile in. The Skaven deliberately tried to get within 3 inches of Imric for Shield of Thorns at the end of the turn, but that pulls Imric into the combat, so...
I think it's worth it. We'll see.
I'll just put him here, but...
Yeah, well, yeah.
So Imric's lance first, hitting on 3s. All hits, wounding on 3s. 2 wounds, and they do 2 damage each with
So
a -1 rend, so they get no save.
4 dead.
4 dead with the lance.
Wow, clan rats aren't looking too great.
And now the claws, we get 3 attacks because we took 10 wounds, hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s. Ooh, nothing there.
Lucky clan
Now the
rats.
dragon's jaws, we've got 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, 2 hits. We are wounding on 4s because we've took so much damage. 1 wound with -2 rend, that does a d6 damage, so 3 guys are dead.
3 dead. Looking good for battle shock for the clan rats. Okay, now since it's the end of the combat phase, we're going to use Shield of Thorns. That's on the clan rats. It's going to affect the mage here, so the mage takes d3 mortal wounds.
He's only got 2. Ah,
So-
nice. He's down to 1 wound.
Yeah. And now the silver helms over here. d3 mortal wounds.
2 wounds.
Okay,
so
2
that's
wounds, so one of them is dead. Yeah.
Take away the hornblower.
Okay, and now Imric.
1 wound.
One
so he's down
wound.
to 3.
It's down to 3 wounds.
Okay, so battle shock here for the clan rats. So roll d6, and you took 10 casualties, so that is 12.
2.
And the bravery 4,
Four.
so that's 8 of them are removed.
Okay,
8 of
so
them
only
flee.
2 are left.
And now battle shock for the silver helms, we took 3 casualties and a 4, so that's 7, and their bravery 7, so none of them flee.
Okay, so that's the end of the battle shock and end of my turn. So into High Elf.
Okay, so start off turn 3 for the High Elves, and I'm going to start by casting Arcane Bolt on these 2 clan rats to try and get rid of them. So cast value 5, and he makes it.
Okay.
I think the Warlock here is within 18,
Yeah, I'm
so
gonna try and dispel.
trying
so
to
I need a
unbind
5
here.
plus.
Ooh, and he doesn't. You need more, so that goes off. Okay, so that's a d3 mortal wounds. which is 3 wounds, so the clan rats have been finished off.
No.
So that Shield of Thorns gone, and that also frees up movement for Imric. And Imric's going to use his command ability, which is Lord of Dragons, so that he can reroll failed to hit rolls for the dragon. And now testing for Festering Corruption for the Warp Fire Thrower here. 5+, which, yep.
Okay, so he's down to 2 wounds.
Down to 2 wounds. And movement, Imric, he can move 8 inches, so I'm going to move him up to here. Get him within Dragon's Breath range of the Longbeards back there. And the Glade Guard's just going to move up 6 inches, so they can still shoot. And the Mage is going to run towards the Realmgate, so it's 6 + 2, it's 8 inches. So he's up to here. And now Dragon's Breath is on the Longbeard, so let's see how many wounds that does. That's a 1, so that's 1 mortal wound. And now these 5 Glade Guard are going to shoot the Warp Fire Thrower, who's in cover, so that's 6 attacks, hitting on 3s. Oh, sorry, hitting on 4s. So that is 3 hits, wounding on 4s. 2 wounds and no rend, so
that's 5+ save.
5+ save.
Okay, so he's down to 1 wound.
Down to 1 wound. Hoping to take him out there. So into the charge phase, and Imric is going to charge the Warp Fire Thrower here, so we need 3+, which we make. So in he goes here. So Imric's going to attack the Warp Fire Thrower first, so we'll do his lance attacks, hitting on 3s. All of them, wounding on 3s. 2 of them, -1 rend. So
okay, but they do get +1 cover save, so it's going to be a 6+.
6+ save. And they're dead.
So they
2 wounds each. And now we're piling in the Rat Ogres on the Silver Helms here. And they're going to get the next attack. So the Rat Ogres have got 8 attacks here, hitting on 3s.
Because they were prodded.
So that's 5 hits, wounding on 3s.
Yeah.
That is 3 wounds.
3 wounds, -1 rend.
-1 rend, so it's a 5+ save. So that's 2 wounds, so one of them is dead.
They do 2 damage each, so both of them are
2
dead.
damage each. Okay, so they're wiped out.
Yeah.
And that is the end of the combat. So end of the combat, Battle Shock. I don't think there's anything. Well, actually, there's the dwarfs. The Longbeards over there took 1 flame damage, so D6 for that.
Yeah. Well, they're bravery 7.
Yep. So D6. Yeah, they're fine. 3 + 1, 4, and they're bravery 7. So it's end of battle round 3 into the final battle round. Okay, so we're going to see who gets the next round, and it's a really important one. We're all after this. So the elves get 5.
6.
Oh, Skaven gets 6. And this is 6 for the dwarves.
So we roll off against each other.
And the Skaven take it.
Skaven first, dwarf second, elf last.
Yeah.
Oh, not good, not good. Final part of the round the elves get. Okay, so Skaven to go first.
Start off turn 4 for the Skaven, and into the Warlock Engineer over here. He's going to try and cast Warp Lightning, and he's going to try and overcharge it onto Imric here. And let's see, it's casting cast value of 5.
Oh,
but
12.
Try and unbind that. Ooh, no, we don't. So it goes off.
Okay, so that's D6 mortal wounds on Imric.
Ouch.
4
mortal wounds.
So he is dead.
My warlord is slain.
Bye bye, Imric. Okay, now into the movement phase, and I'm going to move my Skaven warlord up 6 inches. And there. Now I'm going to move up my Warlock Engineer. So he's just going to move up to here. Okay, now the Packmaster, he's going to move up 6 inches. Just there, if I can fit him on. Kind of. I'll just put him over here. Now the Poisoned Wind Mortar team is going to move up 6 inches. Like that. Okay, and now my Rat Ogres are going to move 6 inches just up here. And keep 3 inches away from that mage. Okay, now into the shooting, and my Poisoned Wind Mortar team is going to fire at the Longbeards over there. So that's going to be a 4+ to hit. Oh, and it's the wall and soul. That doesn't hit. Okay, now my Warlock Engineer is going to shoot his pistol at the Glade Guard here. It's going to be 1 attack, 3+ to hit.
Aha.
Which it doesn't. Okay, now into the charge phase, and the Rat Ogres here are going to try and charge the Mage. They need 3 inches. And 5, so they are in. Okay, now my Warlord here, he's going to try and charge the Mage. He needs a 7. And he just makes it. Ooh. Okay, now my Warlock Engineer here, he's going to try and charge the Mage. He needs an 8. Oh, fails by 1. Okay, now my Poisoned Wind Mortar Weapon team, he's going to try and charge the Mage over there. That's going to be 8 as well. Which he just makes. See if we can get as many models as we can for that victory. Okay, now the Pack Master here, he needs a 9 to charge the Mage, so that's what we're going to do. Oh, and he doesn't make it. Okay, now into the combat phase, and my Warlord here, he's going to attack first with his War Halberd on the Mage. That's 3 attacks, 3+ to hit. Okay, so 1 hit, 3+ to wound. No wounds. Now he's going to attack with his Barbed Blade. That's 5 attacks, and that's hitting on 3s. Okay, so 3 hits and wounding on 4s. Okay, so 2 wounds.
2 6+ saves.
2 6+ saves, and no, so he is dead.
And now the Wood Elves are going to pile in 3 inches. So let's get them up here. Come on, boys. We don't actually have any High Elves left on the field.
Yeah.
Okay, so attacking his Rat Ogres here. 5 attacks, hitting on 5s. 1 hit, wounding on 5. No wound, so nothing from there, the combat. Okay, now both the Rat Ogres here are going to attack the Glade Guard. That's 8 attacks, and they're hitting on 4s. Wow, okay, that's a good roll. And wounding on 3s. Okay, and a -1 rend.
They do 2 damage, don't they?
Yeah.
That's no save.
No saves, so that's 2 damage.
Wounds.
10 wounds, so that's all of them wiped out. No more Glade Guard.
They have joined the Celestial Realm.
That is the Aelfs being tabled. Okay, and that is the end of my turn. So into Dwarves turn 4. Let's see what they can do.
Okay, guys, so we're into the last turn for the Dwarves, turn 4. And we're looking at doing a befuddled test for these Longbeards here because they're within 3 inches of mystical forest. So we need to get a 2+. And so they're okay. So into the movement phase, and the Dwarfs, Longbeards here, are going to use their musician to march. And so that will be 8 inches they can move up here. The Dragon Slayer here, he's going to run, so he will run 2 inches extra, so that is 7 inches. Bring him here. Okay, so that's the end of the movement phase, and we're into the shooting phase, and the cannon is going to shoot at the Rat Ogres. That's 2 shots, needing 4+. That's 2 misses, but because of the rune accuracy, they can reroll that. So that's 1 hit. And that's wounding on a 2+. And so that's with a -2 rend on your Rat Ogres.
So they actually don't get any save. So
D6 damage, it's 2 wounds.
Okay, so
that's one of them down to 2 wounds. Next, Grimberloxen is going to shoot at the Rat Ogres with his Grudge Raker. So that's D6 attacks. That's only 1 attack. Hitting on a 3. And wounding on a 3. So it doesn't. Next, the Organ Gun is going to try and shoot 4 barrels at the Rat Ogres. So we'll test to see if it misfires, and fails that, but we can reroll it, and that's a success. So we get 4 D6 attacks. So that's 14, 16 attacks. It's going to be 3+ to hit. That's 11 hits, 3+ to wound. So that's 6 wounds.
Okay, -1 rend, right?
Yeah, -1 rend.
Okay, so it's going to be a 6+ save. Okay, so that's 4 wounds taken on that. So he's down to 2 wounds and 1 rat ogre.
And lastly, the grudge thrower is going to shoot at the rat ogres again. So that's going to be a 3+ to hit, and 3+ to wound. That fails to wound, but it can shoot twice because of the rune of reloading. So misses again. So that's the end of shooting phase. There's no combat and no battle shock. So
charge my guys.
that is the end of the game.
Yeah, no high elves left for their turns, so
Yeah.
count up models that are within 3 inches.
3
Got
for me.
5 for the
and
dwarves.
5 for the dwarves.
So
it's
that
a
looks
dwarf
like a dwarf victory.
So let's get into post-match.
Let's get into post-match.
Okay, so into the post-match, and that was a dwarf victory.
Oh yeah.
What a surprise! That was a really cool game. I loved how there was so much going on, and down to the last minute, it really could have gone any way.
Yeah, that's the first 3-player game I've ever played. A lot more interesting than I thought it would be initially. I thought it'd just be like a big scrum in the middle, but since we had that objective, it made it a lot more tactical. You know?
Yeah, I thought on turn 1, the sneaky Skaven pulling their guys back.
Yeah.
I thought that might have unbalanced the game.
I wanted them to try and like fight it out a bit before I like set my trap, you know?
Well, I knew that if I got everybody in the middle and I get sandwiched by used two, it was going to be game over. But it didn't go well. It didn't go like I thought it would.
Yeah.
I mean, the cannon killing Archaon.
Oh man, don't even get me started on that. I can't believe that cannon took out Archaon.
That was big. That was definitely big. I really wanted to get Imric in the fight with either Archaon or Belagor, but he never quite made it because he got tied up. But
I should have moved Archaon into the forest. My mistake, because then he would have got +1 to cover and them 2 wounds that he received.
Yeah, but then he could have died because it's a deadly forest.
No, but he's a hero. He's a hero.
No, but deadly on a 1 he still dies.
Does that affect heroes?
Yes.
Yeah, it affects heroes as well.
Right, okay, yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, what do you think from Dwarf's point of view? Did you think you were going to win that at all?
No, I thought at one point it was going to be a definite elf victory. I mean, when
I've got to say, I actually
Imric
thought
was stomping around killing. I mean, you've seen the power of him when he killed them. That clan rat.
Dragons are strong, and Imric especially, he is amazing. Like if he hasn't took many wounds, his jaws do d6 damage, and that's 3 attacks on top of his lance and claws and everything else. So he is definitely that
dwarf artillery, like
the dwarf artillery really showed its worth in this game.
I thought it was cool, the eagle as well. You know, with the soar away. Like if you had a couple of them, like they'd be really good at hit and run.
That was really strong, and I think if you had a few
5
more
or 6
eagles,
attacks on the charge.
6 attacks on the charge.
Yeah, and then you can, after you've done your damage, as long as you don't die.
Kind of like hit and run.
Yeah, that was cool. So I really enjoyed that match. I hope you guys did too. Bit different having three armies on the field, but we certainly enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did too as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and if you like these videos, please like and subscribe, or check us out on tabletopminis.com. and if you'd like to support us, we have a Patreon campaign going on, which goes towards keeping us making these videos and improving what we're doing. So I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.